if you ask me what is the best thing I've ever done for myself and my mental health, it would be taking a break from the corporate grind, taking a break from working my 9 to 5. Some people might call this an adult gap year, others may call it a sabbatical. I personally call it a sabbatical, but it was something that changed my life forever, and I wasn't expecting it to do what it did. I started planning this in 2020 during a time where we were talking about quiet quitting and the I don't dream of labor, I don't have a dream job. I was one of those people joining in that conversation. And I knew that I was gonna give myself 2 years to strategically plan to quit my job for just a minute. Just take a break, just take a breather. I did this because I started to feel like my life was on autopilot. I always knew what to expect in my life. I was sick of driving in traffic every day. I was getting frustrated with working from 8 to 5. They say 9 to 5, but it's 8. Tired of being told when to eat and when to take my lunch break. Tired of being cursed out by customers. It just started to get old. I was in the call center. I wanted time to myself. I needed a break from it all. Like I said, it took me about 2 years to plan, and I'm going to talk about things that happened before I officially took my sabbatical, during my sabbatical, and then after with returning back to work. Now, quick disclaimer, I understand that times are totally different, okay? I am aware that the economy is not what it was back when I took my sabbatical, but I will talk about ways to kind of tweak it so that it will work for you. Me personally, I decided that I don't really need to take a full sabbatical, but I do want to work part-time, and I just did a video about that so y'all can kind of see how I'm budgeting for that. Even with the way things are looking, I still truly believe that it's possible. You just got to believe it, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford, okay? So let's talk about before in the planning stages. Number one is to plan for a date that makes the most sense. I told you I started planning in 2020. In 2022, I would have my 5-year anniversary and be fully vested into my 401k. So I planned for my 5-year anniversary, but then the month after that, we get a bonus. So I waited on that as well. You want to plan for when it makes the most sense for you and your life. If you know you got a bonus or something coming, if you know you'll be fully vested into your 401k at a certain date, just wait. Another thing I will say, and this is something I did not know about at the time, but you can see about taking leave versus completely quitting your job. My thing was, I knew I wasn't gonna go back. My job was not paying a lot of money, and I really wanted to get a higher paying opportunity. So I already had a game plan of where I was gonna go after I took my sabbatical, but I wasn't gonna stay there. However, look into your leave policy. I don't know much about that because I didn't go that route, so hopefully people in the comments can kind of talk about their experience doing that. This is perfect for those too who are a little bit worried about getting a job after taking their sabbatical. It was a different time back then. It was easy to get a job, but by the time I went to come back, I could not find a job. So if you're worried about that, then I say definitely look into leave instead of just up and quitting and putting in your 2 weeks. Another thing I would suggest you do is don't take any time off. For 2 years, I completely no time off. I wanted to save my PTO. So depending on how your job does the PTO, I saved up 80 hours. So that way, when I did quit my job, I could just have like one more paycheck, right? So find out how your PTO works and if they will pay you too once you leave, because some companies are funky. Another thing I would say in the before stages is to go ahead and get all of your doctor's appointments in. Dentist, doctor, whatever it is you need to do, made sure that I got all my doctor's appointments in, made sure I got all my son's doctor's appointments in, because I knew that I would first of all be paying for health insurance after the fact, and I didn't know what the coverage would look like. I went and got my glasses, stocked up on my contacts, everything. Get it in. Okay, on a personal level, go and tell no man. If I can go back in time, I would have shut up. I talk a lot. This is why I got a YouTube channel. I talk too much. And ultimately, looking back, I wish I would have shut my mouth. First of all, people are going to assume that you got a lot of money. They're going to be like, oh, how are you going to be able to take a sabbatical? How are you going to take 6 months off? Did you hit the lottery? Do you have a sugar daddy paying for it? It's going to be a lot of questions. Another thing too is people are going to try to compete with you and tell you why you're not deserving of a break, especially if you're young. There were a lot of people saying, oh, you're only 20 something years old. Why do you think you need a break? I've been working for 25 years and I haven't had a break. I've been working for 30 years and I still don't fall for it. What I would say, this was my response. Oh my God, 25 years straight? Geez, you really deserve a break. I'm not trying to compete in the struggle Olympics of who have it harder and how you work harder than me. Okay, good for you. Ultimately, everyone needs a break. And I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. Just taking a pause, taking a break. People won't understand, especially if they're older than you. People are gonna be like, you You gonna take a break? What you need a break from? You know what I'm saying? From you in this job. Don't feel bad and don't let people talk you out of it and make you feel like you're doing something wrong, because that's what they're gonna do. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of people will try to talk you out of it. They will tell you how this is such a bad idea, how you're ruining your life. How are you gonna get a job and explain that gap in your resume? I got a solution for that. I'm gonna tell you at the end. Your manager is not gonna wanna lose you, especially if you're a good employee. Your manager's not gonna wanna lose you and have to replace you while you're gone, you know? So it's a thing where people are gonna talk you out of it. My job even gave me a raise at the end, and I was tempted. I'm like, ooh, should I say? No. I thought about it. I was like, it was a nice little raise, y'all. It was cool. But it wasn't enough to make me keep clocking in, to be honest. Last thing I would say before, I forgot to write this down, but see if part-time works for you. That's one thing I kind of regret. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say I regret it. I do wish, looking back, I would have just stayed part-time. That was good enough. I was working 8 to 1. I still had the whole day left. I think after a while, I just got tired of the commute because my commute was kind of far. But see if part-time works, because you might like that. I know that's what I'm doing now. I just did a video about that, by the way. Part-time was good for me, and I will do that again. So even at my job now, once I buy my house, because I plan on buying another property, once I buy my house, I might just do part-time for like 2 years and then go back full-time and then do part-time and then do full-time. That's enough. I want to really get into the during, because we'll talk more about why I say that later. So during my sabbatical, here are some things that I learned. Number one, I feel like I had too much time on my hands and it almost aggravated me. We have been programmed for so long to be productive. You understand? So when you can wake up and do whatever you want, people try to act like it's just the best feeling in the world. It's honestly a little bit overwhelming. It's like, what am I going to do today? Find a hobby. Have you ever wanted to learn another language? Have you ever wanted to learn pottery? Have you ever wanted to travel or something? I was just going out to eat every day because I didn't know what else to do. I wish I would have used my time better. That's why I say part-time might be good enough, because at least you'll be making a little bit of money and whatever. But like, if you're someone who wants to start a business or something, it's a little bit different. That wasn't my goal. I ended up starting a business, but that was not my intent. I just wanted to take a break. It's a lot of time to work with. You have 24 hours. You have 24 hours to do whatever you want. It's a lot. That's a lot of hours. So I would say have a list of things to do, which brings me to number 2. You're not going to do most of that stuff on your list. I wrote a whole list of all these things I was going to do. The thing I did first was sleep. Your body's going to go through this shock. I went through it. I know other people who went through it, where you're just going to sleep. I literally slept the first 2 weeks of my sabbatical. I didn't do anything. I would drop my son off at school, come home, go straight to sleep. My body had to adjust to not being in that programming anymore. Does that make sense? I still had to wake up early because I had a kid. I didn't have to stay up. Let your body get that rest. You need it, right? Your body is telling you that you need rest. Get that rest. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel like you have to just get up and go as soon as you start your sabbatical. Don't stay down for too long, because point number 3, you might feel a little lazy. That's something that happened to me. I wasn't expecting that, but I lost all drive. And that might not happen to you. That's why I say it's so important to have a hobby or to be doing something and to kind of plan your days out, because ultimately you can start just doom scrolling all day. You can start getting a little lazy. So that's why I say try to have something planned, like go to the gym, do something, because a lot of my sabbatical, like the first part, I kind of just wasted it a little bit. I know some people are gonna say you shouldn't feel bad about that, but I honestly feel like take advantage of your time off. You were clocking in all this time doing a job that you really didn't want to do. You should be clocking into your life the same way, right? I don't think that you should just completely shut down. I do wish I would have taken more advantage of my free time, and that's okay. You live and you learn. But you know how like when the weekend comes, because you work so much, you try to take advantage of your full weekend and do whatever you can. That's how you need to be during a sabbatical. I'm not saying that you have to do stuff every day. Please don't misunderstand me. Enjoy yourself, relax. But this is your chance to get it in too. Get all the things that you want to do off your checklist, okay? Don't allow yourself to get lazy, because that can't happen. I don't know what number this is. I think it's number 5. But your bucket list will change. You will start off saying that you want to do this, 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 and this. But as you kind of sit with yourself and you're spending time alone and you're thinking about things and you're getting introduced to new things, your list is going to change. For example, I started off wanting to travel. My goal was to start doing traveling content. As I started to find peace in my life, I didn't really like leaving my house that much. Traveling is fun for most people, but I think that I used traveling at the time as a form of escapism. And when I no longer felt like I had anything to escape from, you follow me? The traveling craving went away. All I wanted was food. I love Costa Rica. I had a great time. I got to play with monkeys. It didn't hit like how I thought it would. So I just say that because you might be planning something to go one way, but then as you start sitting with yourself and as you have more time to just do you and think about what you want, your list might change, okay? Another thing that's gonna happen, and this is something, okay, a warning. When you're in your sabbatical, do not feel like you owe people your time just because you have so much of it. That is something that I regret too. I did a lot of things that I didn't want to do on my sabbatical because I felt like, I mean, it's not like I work, you know? Don't feel that way. Some people just feel like they don't respect your time because you're not working, right? If you're not working, then what you doing? That you can't come and help me, or you can't babysit, or you can't whatever. You know, just this is why I quit my job, so I don't have to do things that I don't want to do, right? Don't feel like you owe people your time. Just don't. Trust me. Also, watch how much money you spending. I had friends that did like a party and it was at a lounge and everybody had to contribute, I think $180, but can't go. I'm not working, so I don't get a check, right? So I have to watch how I spend. Watch how you spend. There was a lot of things I missed out on, and I really didn't care who I had to fall out with, and that's got to kind of be your mindset. If you mad, you mad. You can go. If I couldn't go, I couldn't go, and if you didn't respect it, then you gotta go, right? I lost a lot of friends, y'all. Yes, I got the time, but I have to watch my budget. I don't have any income coming in to just go out here and be splurging and just doing what y'all doing because I don't work. You understand? And I had to realize that, and I had to make other people realize that it's not that I'm trying to be mean, but I can't overspend. I have to watch my spending, okay? So make sure that you're keeping up with your budget. You should be checking your bank account every day. Something else I would say too, during my sabbatical, I talk about this a lot, but I started a business. It was a rental car business doing Turo. I don't regret starting that business because that was my character development. That was my canon moment, okay? I would say though, this is the perfect time to try things that maybe you haven't given yourself a chance to try, but don't let it be something that's going to cost you a lot of money. When I had my rental car business, I didn't come out of pocket until I had to, which that was because when things started failing. But before, the business was funding itself. Like, I had great credit, so I had a lot of capital from loans and stuff like that. This is time to try it while you have some time, right? Where you can fully invest in it. If you know you want to be a content creator, go hard on your content. If you know that you maybe wanted to write this book or write this script, go ahead and do that. You wanted to really pursue your photography business, go ahead and do that. This is the perfect time to do so. I personally took the time to study and get my real estate license, and I was able to do it so fast because I had so much free time, right? So I would literally wake up in the morning, take my son to school, and study. During your sabbatical, I think this is the perfect time to try to get a trade or to get a certificate in something. Maybe study and get another degree. Whatever you want to do so that when you go back into the job market, you'll have a little bit more options. I didn't start studying to get my license until I was like 1 year and some change in. But once I got my real estate license, I got a job right away because I was able to get something that required a real estate license. So that kind of helps with the competition, you know? Something that I really loved that I did during my sabbatical too was spending more time with family and going to see family. Me and my son, we went to Miami to spend time with my dad's side of the family. He got to hang out with his granddad and my sisters, my brothers, my nieces, and my nephews. Also going to Jacksonville, which is where my mom's side is from, and spending time with them as well. I really feel like I got closer to my family. Try to spend some time with loved ones. You know, you don't ever know. I hate to say this because this is so like negative, but you just never know how much time you have with people. Now let's talk about the after effects of taking your sabbatical. Number one is you're gonna be a star employee because working is not that bad. That's what I realized. Having a job is not that bad. It was working a job where I was not happy. working a job where I feel like I didn't make a difference or I didn't have a purpose, right? I felt like another number. When I decided to go back into the workforce, I made it a goal to do something that would actually make me feel good. Taking my sabbatical made me realize that it's not that I hate working, because working was not that bad. It's just that I did not like the career field that I was in. During the time where you're taking your time off, you really need to do an analysis of yourself and figure out what is it about your job that made you want to take a break. Number two, a big takeaway is, now that I am working, I take advantage of all of my free time. I don't just do things on the weekends anymore. I do things during the week too. Number three, better budgeting skills. I've always been good at budgeting. I was always good at budgeting with a job, but learning how to budget without a job is a whole different ball game. I lasted 2 years. I don't know. That was God. I was doing social media, but not a lot. So I would have like a random TikTok that might go viral that would, you know, look out and pay some of my bills. But ultimately, I didn't have any steady income and I was scared. I feel like I really did well with learning how to navigate without a job. Also, you'll be amazed that you did it. People will be amazed that you did it. I love telling my story about my 2-year sabbatical because there was so much that I learned about myself during that time. I'm so proud of myself and I'm so grateful for that break because I needed it. Like I told y'all, I'm a star employee right now because I needed that shutdown. Trust me, when you do it, you're gonna be like, wow, this changed my life forever. Before I end this video, I wanted to answer a few frequently asked questions. One of the questions that I get all the time is, what did I do about health insurance? So for my health insurance, I ended up going through the marketplace and I put how much I made for the year or what I would make for the year, and I paid for my coverage that way. I actually had a really good policy, to be honest. My health insurance that I paid for with the marketplace was better than my insurance for my job. And I am aware that the marketplace is doing some changes, so I hope it's not like too bad, but yeah, that's what I did for my health insurance. Another question that I got is, how did I explain the gap? What gap? For me, I put my LLC under there. My LLC has been active for 2 years and I did operate my business, so I just put that on there. Another question that I get is, do you feel like it's necessary to pay off debt? I already talked about this before. I personally don't think it's necessary to pay off debt if you save up your monthly payments for how long you want to take your sabbatical. I feel like paying off my debt helped me with growing my savings a lot faster, but I don't think it's necessary depending on how long you want your break to be. I don't think I could have done 2 years though without paying off my debt, to be honest. 2 years is a long time. Question number 4 is, did I go back home during my sabbatical? No. So I actually was a homeowner at the time and I was paying a mortgage. So no, but my mortgage was fairly low. It was like $1,200 a month. My goal, to be honest, again, when I go part-time, is to buy a home first so that I can have something where I don't have to move again, kind of thing. And mortgages are usually cheaper than rent. Would I suggest going back home if you can? Absolutely. Would I suggest, you know, downsizing? Absolutely. If I don't buy a home, I will be downsizing to a smaller apartment, maybe not a luxury apartment. Right now I live in Atlanta, but I'll be going to the outskirts. Another question is, should I give my manager a heads up? No. Jobs can let you go the day you put in your 2 weeks notice, so make sure you put in a 2 weeks notice that make the most sense for you. I waited 2 weeks after when I got my last check to do it. I gave myself a 2-week gap because just in case they say, oh, you can go home, because some jobs will do that. Your job is not your friend. HR is not your friend, so don't try to be, just to give you a heads up, in like 2 months, don't move in silence. Another question that I get is, what can you do for the things that you can't pay up? So I have 2 things for this. Number 1 is to add to the balances if they allow it. So for example, you can't pay up like your electric bill or your gas bill and things like that. However, you can add to the balance. Same with your phone bill. You can't just pay up your phone bill for the year, but you can add to the balance and they'll just deduct from the balance. So that's what I did. So I put $500 on Georgia Power, $500 on my gas bill, and then I paid my phone bill for the year, and I just added to the balance and they just deduct from that balance every month. But let's say that you can't add to the balance, for example, your rent, because they don't let you pay up rent depending on the state that you're in. I had a sinking fund for my mortgage. My lender for my mortgage did not let me pay my mortgage up for a couple of months, so I had to just have it in a sinking fund. All in all, taking a break was the best thing that ever happened to me, once again. And if I could tell everybody to do one thing for themselves and treat themselves to one thing, it would be that. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you took something from it. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what date you are choosing for your sabbatical, and I will see you all in the next video.